Yesterday, at the same point of time, I had mentioned that although the Dow futures were indicating a cut of 179 points, by the time Dow Jones starts trading, actually, they will get into positive territory and will remain there for at least 2 hours. Same thing happened. They started clawing back the losses which were there on the Dow futures, and it opened, although little negative. Very soon they went back into positive territory and remained there for at least 2.5 hours. Around 12:45 New York time, you found that the Dow futures once again started slipping in the red, and they closed the day again in the red sharply. Today is a very different story. At this point of time, Dow futures indicate a negative opening of around 800 points. Today there's not going to be much respite. Today I don't think they will be able to claw back the losses. They will open in the red, and this red is only going to increase as time passes by. In fact, after around 2 hours of trading, you will find that the losses increase today. So it's going to be a very ugly day on Wall Street today. President Donald Trump has warned of imminent pain to Americans over the next 2 weeks. He believes that there could be some amount of stability returning thereafter, but it will be very, very painful for the next 2 weeks for United States. He talks of more diagnostics, more tests being conducted, and he's also talking of more deaths that may take place over the next 2 weeks. Extremely sad situation for the United States, frontline economy to the world. And when it gets into this painful situation, not only is the human cost very high of the people who are dying, but being one of the largest, or being the largest economy in the world, whatever goes and affects the United States will definitely impact the rest of the world. And this will be one of the cornerstones of a global recession, which I have been warning for the last more than a year. Now, today China had released its CACSIN March Manufacturing Index. That had turned a little positive sign for the Asian markets, because this index came to 50.2. Anything above 50 is considered as expansionary in nature. So the Chinese index was favorable, in fact, yet you found that most of Asia lose steam. I think that the corona pandemic is turning out to be worse than people imagined. So far, there are not many signs of its coming under control. Italy, Spain, and United States are now pretty hard hit. As I have mentioned time and again, many people have realized that they were too late in closing their borders, and the impact of this is now being felt. They do not have enough hospital beds to treat the coronavirus patients. Hospitals are running out of ventilators. Oil has received a big hammering in the month of March 2020, almost down 54%. It is one of the largest quarterly declines in oil ever seen. And there was a pact between OPEC and non-OPEC producers, the front line being Russia. So there is a great amount of disagreement between Saudi Arabia and Russia. And as a result, you find that both of them are now threatening to hike up their production capacity as soon as their agreement ends. It was a 3-year agreement, ends shortly. So you may find that Saudi Arabia has threatened to hike up the oil supply sharply as soon as this agreement comes to an end, and so has Russia promised. Now sandwiched between Saudi Arabia and Russia is the United States, as its shale oil producers are losing a lot of money in the process. In fact, the price of oil that is currently ruling in international markets, you will find that it has gone below the price at which these shale producers are able to manufacture. So as a result, you will find that many of these producers are closing their shale capacity, shutting down their shale manufacturing units, and this is laying off thousands of people, which is going to hit very hardly to Donald Trump's election campaign and his the presidential elections, which are scheduled for November this year. Donald Trump, as a consequence, has appealed to the Saudi king, Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud, requesting him to work out some sort of an agreement with Russia. Vladimir Putin has also been requested by Donald Trump, and let's see if some agreement works out between them. Oil prices we have always seen as one thing which keeps going higher and higher. So most of the time you would go to an oil gas station, you would find that the prices had gone higher. And ever since the last 1 month, since many governments had imposed draconian measures as a consequence of this pandemic, you found that oil prices started coming down. Now, in fact, in many states in the United States, oil is available for as little as 99 cents a gallon. It's a sharp decline in the price of oil. And it's because the governments have imposed lockdown conditions, so you cannot move from one place to another. If you cannot move from one place to another, you don't need a car, you don't need gas, you don't need petrol. So naturally, there's no demand. It's one of the biggest demand shocks that oil has seen, and there has been a precipitous decline in the price of oil. Now, as supply increases, because this agreement between Saudi Arabia and Russia comes to an end, and they will be forced to, and they will be increasing their capacity like crazy. So you will find that on one side supply is increasing like crazy, on the other hand the demand is going down like crazy. So you will find that because of this demand supply disequilibrium, you will find that oil prices will fall quite sharply, and in fact there could be a point of time where the landlocked prices of oil may even get into negative territory, because the producers of oil, if they are not able to sell that oil, then the cost of shutting down the production well will be much higher than the price at which they will be able to sell to anyone who comes to their well. And there may even be a point of time where they may have to give some money to the transportation agency to just carry away the oil with them for free. So as a result, there is an increased likelihood now that oil may even get into negative price territory, especially for the landlocked oil producers. So the producers who are in a landlocked area, they may witness negative oil prices. This has been absolutely unprecedented. Now, if you were to ask me, that there are, as per analysis, there are over 1 billion gallons of oil capacity available all over the world, but it is not possible to reach these places because the velocity of the current shock will break the transportation network so dramatically that it will be impossible to even access these places. So the traditional oil tanks will be difficult to reach because the transportation is completely shut off because of the coronavirus pandemic. You just can't reach that. So people who are producing oil, the oil wells are functioning, but it is difficult to transport the oil from one place to another. There's an unprecedented situation in the world. Oil prices can get into negative territory. This could be extremely favorable for those countries like India, who are heavily oil dependent and can, in fact, if taken very good advantage by Prime Minister Modi, if he's very clever and if his team of advisors, I would love to be part of that team. Fantastic opportunity to take advantage of such low oil prices to boost their economy. Even the most ravaged economy in the world can get a tremendous advantage by such falling oil prices. If now then they cannot do it, they will never be able to do it in their lifetimes. I hope that his entire team is listening. If not, I would love to be a part of their campaign and to help them understand how exactly now they can figure out this precipitous decline in oil prices to their advantage. In any event, such a steep decline in the oil prices can hit oil stocks very badly. So you'll find that stocks which are ruling on the London FTSE, such as British Petroleum, and London FTSE is heavily leaned towards oil stocks, could be very badly battered in the process. In fact, even certain companies in the United States are a part of the Dow Jones Index. Exxon being one of the biggest parts of the Dow. they could get hit very badly, and in fact this can lead to another further decline in the Dow Jones. So it's a feedback loop. One thing is leading to another, and things may get a little bit out of control. Negative oil prices are going to make it very difficult for people, consumers. It'll be a blessing, but it'll be very difficult for the shale gas oil manufacturers. There may be more and more layoffs. Even the oil manufacturing companies will find a very difficult situation. They may have to lay off a lot of people because there's no demand. Refineries could get hit very badly because they will not be able to sell whatever oil they have. So whoever are standalone refineries could get hit very badly. In fact, if they are a part of the logistical oil chain, that could also be an impact. So it's all way. Anybody who has anything to do with oil has had a very difficult period of time. In any event, Dow Jones expected to open over 800 points lower today, and this going to lead to a very further decline. I would not be surprised if today, I don't think there's going to be much of a recovery. There may be intermediate bouts of buying, but in general, if you were to ask me, I would not be surprised to see Dow close with a loss of more than 1,000 today. Happy investing. Take care. Bye-bye.